Ever dreamed of having your own electrically powered electromagnetic projectile launcher? I have. Welcome back to Fact or Fictional, the show where we look at cool tech and science from your favorite movies, TV shows, video games, books, and comics and ask, is this really possible? And if not, why not? I'm sorry I don't have anything to give you today besides the gift of Ricahrd Ryan. Yes, I have the rated RR on to explain the elusive railgun as seen in Halo 4. Hey Ricahrd, I'm so excited to finally have you on my show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, thanks.
So can you give me a brief history of the railgun?
Yeah, so the railgun's actually been in development since 2005. The US Navy contracted out a couple different companies to begin creating prototypes for it. BAE Systems and General Atomics. And General Atomics actually, I believe last month in November, released some new footage of some of their tests in the Phase 2 prototypes. The railgun is actually an electromagnetic or electrical conduit which propels the objects.
So my understanding is that this gun is indeed real.
Yes, it's very much real. It's not in its final stages. It's not actually implemented in any type of military applications right now. They're still in prototype phases. Again, they started, I believe, in 2005 with the first prototype and just now getting into Phase 2, I believe, as of last month. It's really in the early stages right now. I think they're just trying to lock down being able to launch it. I think 100 miles was the distance that they initially had wanted to get them to go. But I mean, you get out into space like Halo or something like that, you're in a vacuum. So who knows how far those could go.
Do we know what sector of the military is actually going to be issuing these guns or using them?
No, I mean, I think the Navy is the one who's getting the primary budget for it right now because they're looking to kind of make these ships more efficient because it's hard to transport, you know, stuff back and forth and resupply. The whole electromagnetic propellant thing is really, really interesting because, you know, you could, in theory, have a rail that just shoots a wall of bullets up. So if there's a RPG or something coming at you, you know, that they can sense that it's coming right before it hits, you know, it shoots this wall of bullets down and destroy the device before it actually impacts or lessens the impact of it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show today, Ricahrd. Do you have anything exciting happening on Rated RR or Survival Gear?
Oh man, this whole week's just jam-packed full of stuff. I mean, we got a ton of explosives and stuff that we're taking out into the desert, and the guys from Funker Tactical are coming down from Canada, and I believe Justine and Freddie Wong, and everyone's coming out to shoot some machine guns in LA. So we got a busy week ahead of us.
Well, guys, Ricahrd seems to be very convinced that the railgun is 100% pure fact. However, I kind of hope they keep those close-range electromagnetic killers off the streets, at least for now. Before we go, I was able to track down Adam Sessler from Rev3 Games to ask him what he thinks about the gun's performance in Halo. So Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
So I'm assuming you have used the railgun in
Yes.
Halo 4.
It's just one of those where, when available, pick it up. You know, it's kind of a good security blanket to have, your railgun.
Now, what is it most useful for in the game?
Taking out big things. It's a waste, and usually it's only by mistake that you use it against kind of the lower level grunts and those kind of enemies that a regular gun could take out. But especially in Halo 4, we have these new enemies, the Prometheans, that really are these kind of sponges for bullets. And as you're shooting them, they're shooting you. And so with the railgun, 1-2 shots, you can at least try to soften the battlefield for your advantage.
Now, this is obviously a huge weapon, but what does it do to victims when you use it?
It obliterates them?
The total obliteration?
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're kind of, you know, it's interesting because, especially in a game like Halo, it depends what kind of your enemies are. The Prometheans are, for all intents and purposes, AI, so they kind of dissipate. Whereas your Covenant, the more traditional enemies, they just kind of splat. So, and you see the railgun used this way throughout a lot of games in history.
Oh, so what other games has it shown up in?
I remember the railgun as far back as Quake. It's funny because I think by coming on to this show, it occurred to me that there is something you can say is specifically the railgun. Because the railgun just starts to signify this sense of incredibly large, out-of-control weapon that just will take out a tank and a planet all at the same time.
I want one.
I know.
I would like to have that.
People wouldn't make as much fun of me, I think.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And do you want your face on Fact or Fictional? Let me know your favorite tech from your favorite comic. If it's tricky enough, you might see yourself on a future episode. Until next week, I'm Veronica Belmont, and this is Fact or Fictional on TechFeed. Be sure to subscribe to see all of our new shows. I'll see you next time. Bye! So they designed that wormhole traveling device. Do we have anything similar to that?
Not that I'm at liberty to talk to you about.
Or what, they'll kill you.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. The aliens, what they did is they took our signal and then they added information to it to build this machine. And they figured out that they weren't just like pages in a book, is what it looked like. You had to actually fold them up into sort of a three-dimensional thing. And